My name is Debra Ballard, and I'm the Director of Development. The role of the rescue mission is to provide food, clothing, and shelter to the poor, needy, and homeless in Grant County. We also provide a lot of other essential services to people, but our primary goal is to help people get off the streets and have a safe place to sleep. The Grant County Rescue Mission is a Christ-based organization. We say Christ-based over faith-based because there is a definite difference. Our ultimate goal is to introduce people to Jesus Christ. People who are hurting, who are struggling, who are homeless, who are hungry. Even in the Word of God, it talks about how you have to meet the needs of the poor. And if somebody's hungry or they're cold and they don't have a place to sleep, they're really not going to hear what you're trying to tell them about Jesus. We try to provide those necessities of life for them and in the process show them the love of God through the rescue mission. The mission started in 1986. It was started by a group of local ministers and businessmen in the community that saw a need for a homeless shelter in Marion. They came against some opposition because a lot of people didn't think that there was a homeless problem in Grant County. We're a smaller community, so they really didn't see what the need was. But whenever these ministers and businessmen started pointing out the need and proving the need, because a lot of people want to stick their head in the sand and not realize that there is a problem. They began to expose that problem. Then other churches and ministers began to get on board and developed a board of directors and was able to actually get this facility. This facility used to be the old phone company here in Grant County. When they tried to get this building, they were having some trouble getting it, and that group of board members, which was made up of businessmen and ministers, literally came down here and anointed this building and walked around it and prayed about it and laid hands on the building, and they were able to, within a week or so, purchase this building at a price they could afford. But that's kind of how the mission started. My husband is the executive director here, Tom Ballard, and we've been here almost 7 years. When we came on board, the facility you're in right now was the only facility we had. We now have a women's shelter. We also now have a separate facility that is a family shelter. We have 2 thrift stores now that are not at this location. We have one here in Marion on the bypass and one in Gas City. And we also were able to get a grant to build the apartments that are next door. Whenever we go to churches and businesses and places to speak, we always bring Matthew 25, where it talks about taking care of the poor and the needy, feeding the hungry. In that passage, if you read it, it's really not an option for the church to take care of the poor and needy. It's more of a command. It's one way how the Lord is going to separate the sheep from the goats. The way that we see God's hand work in here, and sometimes it's a slow process, sometimes it's not an overnight change, but, we see so many people coming through our doors here, whether it's to stay at the shelters and to go through our programs, our classes that we offer to try to help get them back on their feet, or whether it's just to come in for a meal. Anyone can come here and eat. We serve 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Our kitchen never closes. I think last year we did almost 75,000 meals. We believe that when people come in here, number one, this is a safe place where they can come. And number 2, seeds of the gospel are being planted in their life. Sometimes the mission has been given a stigma. People are afraid to come down here and, they think this is where all the bad people hang out, but really it's not. People who come here are people who have been devastated. But this is a place for transformation. It's a place where people can come and you can see them change. Don't judge a book by its cover. People are stereotyped, and there's a stigma placed on people who are here. If you have any kind of compassion at all, and you sit down and you listen to some of the stories, or you understand where some of the people have come from and the abuse that they've suffered, but you can have some kind of a compassion for why they're here and do what you can to try to help and turn that around. We have low moments when we lose somebody and they fall back out into the world. That's hard because, we get attached to these people and we love them, and, we've poured everything we can into them. We have people who are now on staff with us full time that came and they were at the bottom of the pit, the lowest of the low, and God has totally changed their life around. Volunteers are vital to the rescue mission and helping us do what we do. Anything that the Lord lays on your heart to do, we need it. Above all, I would like the reputation of the rescue mission to always be a place where people can go who are struggling, who are in need, and they need a safe place where they can go and be taken care of.